Hey guys, how's she going today? Well, I got a big long pile of shit that we're going to be putting in here today. I'll start off, show you what all we got going here. So it's just some new connectors I bought, and it's a cigarette lighter and this little twist in light for in this cup holder. You can see the red lens there, just like in the exactly the same as what we put in the 4440 there a little bit ago, but I need another light. And this cigarette lighter, remember that, we'll come back to it. Here's the light bar, the Trimble light bar. It's an Easy Guide 110 right there. And I got it pretty cheap here a little bit ago. Most of you guys probably remember when I got it. So I'm going to be putting it in this tractor is what I've decided, because I'm going to be using this on the P-roller come springtime. And anyone who's ever used a land roller knows that when it's sunny out and you're driving into the sun, kind of like what it looks like right now out there, and the ground's dry and everything else, you've got a hard time seeing where your last pass was. So I know these things aren't anything too precise, but at least being able to see where your straight line is, if you're veering one way or the other, it'll help a guy hold that line a little better when you can't see where you've been. So that's my idea for it. And then this is the controller for it, and it's supposed to have Velcro. And I don't want to put Velcro in the cab because I'd like to be able to have this so it can be moved around from tractor to tractor if one or this one or something ever blew up and you couldn't use this tractor to P-roll, so the 4440 would be on it. It's such a simple harness and system to move from tractor to tractor. I wanted to keep it so it's not Velcroed to the cab. So I bought this X mount from John Deere here, Ram mount, and it holds it perfect, and it just sticks to the windshield. So that's going to hold it. This is the wiring harness for it. It's very simple. It's just a cigarette plug for power. So that brings us back to it. I don't want to have the cigarette lighter plug-in to running it plugged in here, because it sticks out this far and it's in the way, and you're going to hit it with your knee and snap the cocksucker off. So I'm going to put one down here on the floor out of the way with it plugged in, run some wires up, and I'm going to put a switch, a toggle switch, on and off up here. You'll see in a little bit, because it's not going to be on a keyed power or anything. I'm just going to run it from the batteries because the power's right there. And there's no on-off switch on this thing, so I'm going to put it on a toggle switch on and off. Here's my plan. Then it brings us to this big fucking unit here. And that big snaked up, rolled up lump of shit. That's the monitor for the 1682. If any of you guys have never seen such a thing. There's your focus. Not going to want to focus. Looks really blurry for some reason. Whatever. You got your feeder reverse for your feeder housing to back it up when you plugged it. Turn it on and off. Unloader, lights. Run your rotor speed up or down, fan speed up or down. There's your alarms. Set your alarms so that when a certain RPM gets too low, it'll whistle at you. System check, so if you've got alarms going off, you're not sure what they are, it will tell you. And instructions, and it kind of tells you how to set a few different things. And this is a grain loss monitor, exactly the same as what's in your 1480 all the way up through most of the, well, 2188 is exactly the same. And I'd assume it's pretty well the same system in most of the 88s. It's just a unit on its own instead of built into the cab like on the 2188. So that's the 1682 setup. And then I've got some new engine filters, the engine air, and I've got a hydraulic filter over there as well. So that's what I'm going to work on. So I'll talk to you guys here in a little bit when I get a few things kind of strung together. All right. It's many hours later. When I started the video, I think it was, I don't know, 8 o'clock or something. And now it's 6 to 6. But I ended up doing more than what I was planning on, and everything just kind of takes longer than what it should most of the time. So we've got this big gross rat nest going in the corner here, but there's nothing you can do about it, so we'll just ignore that and focus on the real nice clean wiring job everything else is. So I've got 2 switches wired up. You'll see in the cab, there's this first one and the second one. This first one runs the GPS, this one runs the combine monitors. And I got a third switch to put in yet, but I gotta remember how it works for running the combine. There's a solenoid you gotta put underneath of the cab here, and story for another episode. But here's my cigarette lighter with the plug-in for the GPS. And I've got everything hidden down here, and I just grounded to this, the bolt on the dash here. I might end up changing that, but that was the quickest, easiest solution right now. I was thinking about running it back down to the battery here, but I don't know, I might change my mind yet. It's working really good grounding it there, so if it wants to work, I'm just gonna leave well enough alone. It's not like it's trying to ground out the entire world. There's a couple monitors really, so anyway, I've got that there. I've got the combines ran off a 15 amp fuse, and then there's inline fuses already for the GPS on its own, so I just left that alone. This wire here runs up to the roof, and the receiver's up on the roof there, and then the big combine harness here, I've got to try to make something to hold it down and over yet, but it runs up the back and around out here. I gotta plug this hole yet with some foam, and then I've got it all just rolled up and tucked away until we hook up to the combine, and then it'll get all raveled out and plugged in as it needs to be. So anyway, I guess I'm going to climb up in the cab here now. I thought I'd show you. I've got everything put here so that when you shut the little door here, everything is hidden. The only hint you've got there's something going on is you can see a few wires there. If you look really close, you can see them running underneath there. So anyway, I'm gonna climb up in the cab, so I'll show you what's going on in there. Okay, we're up in the cab here now, and I'll show you what all's going on. So we'll start with the GPS, I guess. So that's in the mount I got to hold it. It's nice right in center for doing what you gotta do, and it is right there. So I'll hold this back. Here's about where your head is if you're driving the tractor. So I mean, you're not really losing much for your view. The only thing blocking a bit is that kind of standing up and down. But if that's going to hinder your ability to run the tractor, and people that, oh, there's a bar in the middle of the window, my International doesn't have that. If that's enough to hinder your ability to the point that you can't operate the tractor, maybe it's time to hang it up. That's a story for another day too. Whatever. Anyway, so I have these 2 switches here, as I was saying. So red guy, give him a few seconds here to get his life sorted out. And I don't know why, but this is the right way up. But if you'll notice, it's upside down the way it's reading. So there must be a setting. I don't have the book for this. If anybody could provide me with a book, an Easy Guide 110, that'd be appreciated. I'm going to try and search on the interweb and see what I can find, but I'm sure that's a setting to must be to flip-flop the direction the rating is, and if it isn't, well, then I guess I'll have to just give her a half Nelson. But anyway, that's the GPS is on, runs off that switch, and then the combine runs on that green one. So that's how I've got all that wired up in the cab here. And then harness runs down along here and out the back. I just got to put the upholstery back up again. Cut a little notch in it to fit around the cluster of wires there, but that's how I've got everything wired up in the cab here. And then on the plastic roof to hold the receiver with the magnetic base. This tractor, previous owner, must have had GPS because there's a nice plate that's been really nicely installed on the roof here. And then there were these 4 holes. I'm not sure, he must have had something else on there too, but I did not need them, so that's why I've got that, and the wire just runs over the roof. But I might do something different with that yet too, I'm not sure. But for now, it's gonna just sit on the roof. In a perfect world, I'd run it through the plastic here and then have it come out on the side. But then that's one more step in opening the roof up for the 15th time, because we've been doing nothing but wiring on this tractor for the last week now, I think. So I've had about enough of wiring. So it's gonna just wait for now. If it's, I don't like how it is, I'll change it in the future, but for now anyways, that's where I'm gonna leave you. So hit that like button, subscribe for more, and we will talk to you guys in the next one.